Okay, welcome. Come to Virasana. If you haven't grabbed 2 blocks and 2 blankets, grab those. And you're going to want for practice to sit on something as we start. I like to have 2 blocks side by side, but you can also just, if you comfortably sit with your buttocks bones down and there's no space, feel free to do that. And then really spread your toes nice and wide. And then everybody take your hands and just notice at the center of your palm, there's almost like this like an arch of the hand. So when we take the arch of a hand, it's almost like when we're holding water, we don't want it to spill over. So take that imaginary cup of the arch of your hand and put it onto your heels. So we're naturally made to fit our own form and our own bodies and our own function. And so we each have a right hand, we each have a left hand, and even if you for some reason go through life one day, we can use our imagination to imagine that we have those 2 sides. So most of us, it's kind of an exception. Sometimes we don't have those 2 sides, but we really have those 2 pieces of us, right, anatomically. We each have 2 feet, 2 eyes, 2 ears. And through this, when we think about these 2 halves, we don't think of them as separate. And we're going to be working with this esoteric dialogue this week in practice, really of this Trinity. And the Trinity is really everywhere in nature. And nature really, truly reminds us of these 2 things coming together to make a third. And sometimes we can see them. The explicit is our body, where we can actually see 2 hands, 2 eyes, 2 feet, 2 ears. But the implicit is this information that's within. And the implicit for us is this imaginary third eye, right? So we each have 2 eyes, but there's this implicit third eye or intuition that we tap into. We can't see it, right? But we know it's there. And then our third hand. And our third hand is kind of like our personal steering wheel. We know where we're going. Our torso is really where we hold our space in the world. We're really outward in the world. But we also now, right, sometimes we have to go inwards. So we feel that through our whole torso. And our right hand that we know is our hand of our doing, right? We shake on it, we make a deal. We often write something with our right hand, or we live in a really right hand dominant world. And our left hand is our place of articulation because it's our hand closest to the heart. So we don't want to just be a good communicator. We don't want to be a good articulator, because if we talk too much, and we all know people like this, if we talk too much, we can't actually put things into action, right? So we need to use the right and the left to actually feel the third hand, that invisible third hand at the center, so we know where we're going. And then our feet, noticing our stability, our place of connection closest to the ground. So really make a good cut from your hands to your heels. Think about your lower body, like your roots, and your roots go down, but we don't want to just go down. We want to go down and we want to go out. So we have a lot of strength and stability. It's almost like that Trinity. We root down, but we want to root out to the right and to the left. But we also want to root front and back and up and down, so that we really are putting all 3 pieces together. And then the hands, just imagine the hands like branches connecting to your root, to your foundation. So you're really playing all 3 parts together as a whole. You're not playing one thing to get to one direction, but you're playing all things together. You don't have to do one thing or all the things well, right? That's why it's called a practice. So start to notice just the front of the body, notice the back of the body. Notice what's to your left and to your right, and then feel the up and the down. And then add the breath through all of that. Really feel all the parts of the body working as a whole. Take a breath, inhale, up, down, left, right, front and back. Exhale, feel all those 3 parts coming together at your center. And then take your hands into a third hand. Right hand fits the left hand, Anjali Mudra, and then really touch your thumbs to your sternum at your heart. Tip yourself forward just slightly. Use your big toe mounds, press your big toe mounds down, and then see if you can slightly internally rotate your thighs together just a little bit. And then see if you can root your perineum down in order to rise up. So there's a lifting of your sternum and chest so that you're coming forward, so you're not stuck in your past, okay? And then close your eyes for a moment. Really use that imagination of a third eye at the center of your forehead to really put your stability What do you know? Your ability, what do you want? How do you carry yourself? How do you make a deal with yourself? And then how do you carry it out into the world? And then where are you going, right? So we can dream, we can goal set, but if we don't know where we're going, we're gonna get stuck. And so using all three parts together today as that trinity. Then add the breath, seal in an intention. Take a deep breath, inhale through the nose. Let it out through the mouth, exhale, let it out. And then blink the eyes open, namaste and welcome. Come over to hands and knees, find a table pose. You can tap, tap, tap out through the feet. Welcome. I see we have a couple more that joined us. Dawn, welcome. And Zach, welcome. Just 2 blocks, Dawn and Zach, if you missed my announcement, 2 blankets, just whenever you get a chance. Spread the hands, everybody evenly and well. And then really start to root down through that arch of the hand. So I like to hear really press down a little bit more through the thumb and the first finger. That's the strongest part of your wrist. Push your thumb and your first finger down so that you open out through the outer part of the shoulder. When you open out through the outer part of the shoulder, really see if you can widen your collarbones from one side to the other, and then look out in front of you. Notice what's going on with your feet. Have you lost your stability and your connection? Spread the toes from the big toe to the pinky toe edge of the foot. Make sure your heel is directly behind the center of your knee. That's going to give you one straight line. And then inhale the cat today. Push the hands down around the spine. Allow the sides of the neck to be soft. As you exhale, come into your cow. Think your breath goes out to let something out. And then inhale to cat pose, tuck the chin in and round. Exhale, really force the breath out. You can open the mouth like you're blowing out a candle. Inhale, one more round, cat pose. Exhale the cat, or cow rather. Inhale, come back to your table pose. Lengthen your right leg back and behind you. And really push your right heel back so the right heel is over the back wall of the foot, but keep the gaze out in front of you. And a lot of us have the tendency to look down rather than looking out. So put your brain into your right heel, really use your right heel like an anchor to anchor back, and then draw your pubis forward a little bit more, but keep lengthening that right leg back. And then from here, lift the right foot up and off the mat, hug the right knee into the chest, and then take a Gomukhasana leg. Take the right thigh on top of the left, pick up your left knee and inch your left knee out to the side, to the right side, and then really spread your toes. So use the visualization of a tree. Knees go down, but the feet go out wide to really get nice and rooted and rounded. Imagine a clock face in front of you. So when we organize with time, we're really using this as a place of measurement. And time is just one way to measure, right? So we have our right, we have our left, we have our front, our back, our up and our down, but time really also helps us move in a direction so that we don't get stuck, right? Or where we know where we're going. Think about a clock in front of you. 12 o'clock is in front of you. To your right is 3, behind you is 6, and to your left is 9 o'clock. Put your knees in the center of your clock, and then look out. Try to draw your pubis a little bit more forward towards 12 o'clock. Put your brain into your left thigh. Internally rotate the top of your left thigh, and then see if that moves your right hip a little bit more out towards 9 o'clock. Externally rotate your right hip, and then see if that gives you a little bit more leverage, moving your hips to 3 and 9 o'clock. And then take your hands, push your hands down, tuck your toes in, take your knees to a hover, and look out in front of you. Keep looking out, 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 out in front of you. That's it. And then start to send your chest towards your thighs, and then move your thighs towards your chest. So you're coming into a crossed knee, downward facing dog. Everybody lift your heels up, and then I want you to take that left knee. Bend your left knee so the knee fits behind the right. Then again, take that top of the left thigh, internally rotate your left thigh, and then see if that moves your right thigh out a little bit more towards 3 o'clock and your left hip more towards 9 o'clock. If you can keep that shape with knee behind knee, now start to send your hips up, then start to drop your heels down, and they're not going to touch all the way down, and that's okay. Keep sending your chest back towards your thighs, but keep your gaze out towards 12 o'clock. And then look at your hands. Can you draw an imaginary line from your left wrist to your right wrist? One straight line across. And then look back at your feet. Take your feet and make a more of a rectangular shape. Try to align the toes behind the wrist, but stay in this cross-legged downward facing dog. Yeah, keep it, Barbara. Yes. So good. And then bend your knees a lot. Yeah, bend your knees more. That's it. And then look at the shape. Can you make more of a rectangle with the shape? Toes to wrists, wrists to toes. Inhale, look forward. Come into a tuck-toed, upward facing dog with the knees crossed. Exhale, downward facing dog. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, come forward for your plank. Yes, exhale to down dog. Right, so notice the obstacle that you've created. Look out in front of you. Play the Trinity, play all 3 sides. Find that imaginary third in the center. And then come back to your down dog. Look at your right thumb. Step your right foot forward to your right thumb. And look out in front of you. That's it. Pick up your left foot and step it to the left side of the mat so you're widening your lunge. That's it. And then tense your fingertips. Take your right hand to 3, your left hand to 9. And really lift your right heel up, everybody. Lift your right heel up so that you start to fit your right knee into your right armpit. And then I want you to press your left heel back. Think the press of the left knee back lunges your right knee forward into the armpit more. And then drop your right knee down. So much better. Good. And then drop the back knee down, untuck the toes. Inhale to low lunge. Reach the arms forward and up. Oh, I don't know why my phone's. Sorry, I lost you for a second. Okay. Reach the arms forward and up. Come all the way up. Good. Make 2 fists. Get punchy, but make it loose. So just kind of shake, shake, shake it out. So you know how to let go. You know how to get grounded. And then take a big breath. Inhale. Exhale. Cactus the arms. Do that 2 more times. Inhale. Reach the arms up. Release the fist. And then as you exhale, like you're pulling a pull-up bar down to do a pull-up. Pull the arms down. Exhale. That's it. Inhale. Reach your. One more time. Exhale. Good. Send your hands down. Frame your front foot. Tuck your back toes, step the back foot back, downward facing dog, traditional down dog. Then inhale forward for plank. Exhale your choice, half, full. Always know vinyasa is an option. Inhale up dog. Then exhale, pull back to child's pose for the first one. Drop down onto the knees, hips back to the heels, and then just take a moment to rest. Take a moment to rest in your child's pose. So notice for a moment how it felt to come out of the legs crossed. We're making this shape, this braid with the legs, taking 2 sides and really wrapping them together to make a third. This Trinity. And so we know that each thing in nature has an outside, an inside, and a middle. It has a front, a back, and a middle, a bottom, a middle, and a top. Making those 3 sides. When you're ready, come back to your table pose. Spread your hands evenly well, realign your knees. And then from here, take your hands, interlace your hands together, right out in front of you. But stay in this variation of table pose. Yeah, so good. So notice if you can make that triangle from knee to knee, from wrist to knees. And then from here, on an inhale, look forward, come into your cow pose. Then exhale to cat, tuck the chin and round. Do that 3 more times. Really move from the pelvis, look out in front of you, push the hands down to round the spine. And just observe these 3 parts. These 3 parts are really personal, noticing maybe what you can't see, but you know is there. And then do that last round. Take your hands back to traditional table pose. Lengthen your left leg back and behind you. Touch your toes down just to begin. Come onto the heel on the ball of the foot. Then from here, inhale, begin to lift your left leg up. Hug your left knee in. Find Gomukasana leg on the second side. You have to wiggle your right knee across a little bit more to the midline. So notice how you just reverse that shape. Now the knees are at that third dimension. Hands down, and then really spread the toes. And then just notice, become aware if maybe this side is easier than the other. Maybe it's harder. And all that is information. It's not judgment. Spread the hands if you're feeling well. Did you look down, or can you keep looking out? So don't get stuck in the past. Really mediate between the past, the present, and your potential. What's out in front of you. From here, tuck your toes. Hover your knees up and off the mat. Keep your gaze out towards 12 o'clock. Think that your chest moves back towards your thighs, and then lift your heels to lift your thighs into your chest a little bit more. Yes, so good. When you're ready, lift your heels a little bit more, and then put a bigger bend into your right knee. Find your right knee with your brain, and then bend your right knee so it really fits behind your left knee. Internally rotate the top of your right thigh to move your right hip more to 3, and then see if you can externally open your left thigh to move your left thigh more towards 9 o'clock. If you can keep that shape, now start to lift the hips up, but don't lose the contact from the chest towards the thighs. Yes, so nice. Keep the gaze out in front of you, everybody. Yes, so get your ears in line with your shoulders. 3 times. Inhale. Come in to your tucked toed, upward facing dog. Exhale to down dog. And it might not look like your traditional up dog, right? So be with the struggle. Maybe you don't come all the way, but you're working the practice. You're coming around yourself so you know what's hard, you know what's easy, so that you can mediate between hard and easy, so that you know what's right for you. And then look at your left thumb, step your left foot to your left thumb. Look out in front of you, pick up your right foot, move it to the right. Tense your fingertips wide and off the mat. That's it. Lift your left heel again. So when you lift your left heel, your left butt lifts up. And you can kind of exaggerate that a little bit from here, and that's gonna give you a better fit into the armpit. Move your left knee into the armpit, anchor your right heel back. Think that the top of your right thigh spins in, and see if that gives you a little bit more turn of the left thigh out. Then drop your left heel down, lunge forward, and look out in front of you. Yes, it should be hard. I know. Drop your back knee down. Really good work, Barbara. Untuck your back toes. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. So even with this, notice that place of challenge, that tenacity, what fires you up, and then fire your hands up. Really get punchy. So if we get too fiery, we burn out. So we want to have enough fire. We know how to make a fire. We want to learn how to make a fire so we can put things out, but we don't want to burn out. Take a big breath, inhale. And then hold the elbows in this time. Give a hard breath. Do that 2 more times. Let go of the fire. Catch some rain up. Open the palms. And then fire. 1, inhale, reach the arms forward and up. That's it. Good. Mediate between rain and the fire so you find that steam. Good. Set your hands down. So good. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee up. Step back to a traditional down dog. So from here, look at your hands. Try to find that rectangular shape, but this time in a traditional down dog. Wrist to wrist, toes behind wrists. Lift your heels, bend your knees, and then really make contact. Bend your knees more than you think you should to make contact with your upper body and your lower body. So you're really using the strength and stability of your lower body, your ability in your torso, and then you're looking out towards your thumbs to get your vision to look where you're going. Now come into a vinyasa if you want it. Forward for plank, option for chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. That's it. Exhale, downward facing dog. So pretty. Good. Lift your heels again, bend your knees, look out in front of you, step, hop, or jump to the top of the mat. Make 2 fists, slide the fists to the inner arches of the feet. So when we make the 2 fists, we're really giving ourselves that correct measurement of our inner hip distance. So we're not guessing the measure, we're knowing it well into our brain. So just like when we make dinner or we make a set of chocolate chip cookies, If we know that recipe well, we have to do all the things. We have to add the flour, the eggs, the butter. But if we don't know the actual measurement, if we're doing a tablespoon instead of a teaspoon, the recipe is not going to come out well. So much like the asana, when we do these measurements, when we turn one thigh or we open one thigh, we're really fitting ourselves better so we can put it all together. And then release the hands. Inhale, reach the arms forward, come all the way up to stand. Good, exhale, send your hands down. Notice that the hands come together, right? So really feeling that implicit third nature within yourself. Surya Namaskar. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale and fold. Come through yourselves. Thumbs can touch the forehead, that third hand at the center, and then release the hands down into your feet, really feeling that third group. Inhale, hands to shins, lift up halfway. Exhale and fold. Inhale, step your right foot back to a lunge. Listen carefully, everybody. Today, step your left foot in front of your right foot to find that cross knee down dog. Inhale forward to a tuck-toed cross knee up dog. That's it. Yes, so fun. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look at your thumb. Look at your left thumb, rather. Step your left foot to your left thumb and look out in front of you. Drop the back knee down, untuck your toes. Inhale, low lunge, reach the arms all the way up. Good, make two fists, take a big breath. Inhale, good, cactus the arms for the first one, exhale. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Good, exhale, set the hands down. Listen carefully, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee up, cross right foot behind the left foot, right foot behind the left foot. And then wiggle pinky toe edge to pinky toe edge together. Lift your right heel to fit your knee behind the left knee. And then look out in front of you, reach your hands forward. The heels will drop as you rise, come all the way up. That's it. Exhale, hands to the heart. Thumbs can touch the forehead, that third hand, the feet. Really feeling this now, third foot. Inhale, hands to shins, lift up halfway. Exhale and fold. Inhale, look out in front of you. Step the left foot back to your lunge. Exhale, listen carefully, right foot in front of left. Cross knee down dog. Inhale, look out, come into your tuck-toed up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog with the cross knees. Look out towards your right hand. Step your right foot, it should be the front foot. And if you switch the crossing, that's okay, right? That's part of the lesson, that's part of the practice. Left foot steps behind the right and fold. Wiggle pinky toe edge to pinky toe edge together. Really make this braid, so lift the heels and then bend the knees to make the fit. Lift the heels, reach the arms forward. The heels will drop as you rise. Come all the way up. So pretty, hands to the heart. Relax the hands next to the hips and then unwind your feet. Both inner arches come together. Traditional Tadasana. Isn't that fun? Push the arms all the way up. That's it. Exhale, hands to the heart. Fold all the way down. This time, traditional Surya. Hey, halfway lift, breathe in. Then exhale, step or hop back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Traditional up dog. Untuck the toes. Unwind yourself. Come into that more traditional vinyasa that you know. And then pause, downward facing dog. So notice when things get crossed, or in this practice we call it the cross-referencing, taking one side of the body and aligning with another, that's to give you a better frame. I'm just taking a break. You can stay in a down dog as I watch. Yeah, good. One more breath. Take a full breath in. Good, full breath out. Lift your right leg straight up to the sky. Exhale, step your right foot forward to your right thumb. Look out in front of you. Ground your left foot down parallel. We're gonna come into warrior two stance. Reach your left hand out, and then rise up to your warrior two. Good. Send your left hand in front. So both hands reach out in front of you. That's it. Good. Left arm underneath the right arm for an eagle wrap of the arms. And then turn your arms and your torso to the left. Put your brain into your left foot and see if you can turn your left foot a little bit more at a 45-degree angle. One of my teachers actually goes all the way to 60 degrees. So the turn of the ankle gives you more external rotation or hip opening, okay? So if you go more, if you go to 60 degrees, it's gonna be easier. If you go 45 degrees, it's gonna be harder, okay? And then put your brain into your left thigh. Move your left thigh in and down, but push your left heel back. And then see if that moves your right hip a little bit more in. And then lift your elbows up to chin height. Really turn your torso and your elbows to the left. And then think that your elbows move out to their own side. And then lift your elbows up a little bit more. Put a bigger bend into the right and try to take that right thigh parallel. Yes, so good. Side bend. Take a peaceful, but keep the arms. Reach to the back. And then exhale, unwind the hands. Drop them down, fold. Hands in front of the foot. And then step back to down dog. So your choice, traditional flow, no flow. Meet back. When you're ready, 3 breaths. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Ground your right foot down first. So really get stable first in the legs, and then reach your branches up. Come around like you're swimming, surfing rather, warrior 2. Good. Take your right arm, reach it forward. Take your right arm, reach it forward. That's it. Right arm underneath the left for eagle arms. I like to grab a hold of the wrist to make a cuff. It's a little bit more of a connection with elbow to elbow, but you can do traditional. So just decide where you want to be. And then turn your torso and your elbows to the right. Put your brain in your right foot, either 45 or even 60 degrees today if you want a little bit more. And then really rotate your right thigh in and down, but push your right heel back. When you push your right heel back, that protects your hamstring, okay? And then see if you can lunge a little bit more into your right thigh, or your left thigh rather, but push the weight into the heel. Lift your elbows up to chin height, and then again, turn more to the right. Turn more to the right, so you lift your pubis up, you drop your tailbone down, and the elbows move more to their own side, so you're making a better fit, okay? Lift your elbows up, side bend to the back of the room. Peaceful with eagle arms. Hands down. Frame the front foot, and then your choice. Flow. This is a flow practice. But if you want less, tune in. So really tune in to your energy of where you are, where you're moving, where you're going, where you are in that moment. Take one more breath in down dog, full breath in. Exhale, full breath out. Lift your right leg to the sky. Exhale, step your right foot forward. Warrior 1 foot pattern this time, left foot down 45 degrees. Reach your arms forward and up. That's it. And then push the weight into your right heel. Back foot is 45 degrees. That's it. Some of you need to go a little bit wider and longer with this stance, a little bit longer. So it should feel like effort. Yeah. Good job, Jeannie. It should feel like effort. It shouldn't feel easy because we want that tenacity, right? We want to know what it feels like to get fired up so that we can find that release. Reaching arms out in front of you. Left arm underneath right arm, eagle, wrap the arms. Lift the elbows up to chin height. Look at your elbows. Think your right elbow moves to the left. And think your left elbow moves to a better fit. Finding that same weight. And then lift the elbows up. Touch your chin into the crook of your armpits. And you'll go, oh, I don't want to do this, but you're going to do it. Because you know it's temporary. Yep, really get in there, Barbara. I know you can. So good. And then back bend to pose. Lift your elbows up, 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 up. Then come into a fold, but keep the elbows, keep the chin in the crux of the elbows. That's it. Unwind. Release your left hand down. Take your right knee into your right armpit. Look out in front of you towards 12 o'clock. And then take your right palm to the low back of the sacrum. And you might lose that fit of the right arm into the right armpit, and that's okay. Look out in front of you towards 12 o'clock. Some of you might choose to take your left hand and turn your left hand backwards towards the back of the mat. So you're flipping your wrist. Yes. So good. So if you feel pain in this, Some of you, I know, say you have a little bit of wrist pain or shoulder pain. So if you have pain in this, see if you're too much onto your thumb. Can you spread the weight into your pinky edge of your hand, but keep looking out in front of you? So usually if you have pain in the shoulder, it's because you're overcompensating in one area. Look out towards 12 and then start to turn the pose to the right. Turn, 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 turn. Yes. Get a little bit longer. Look out in front of you again towards 12 o'clock. Move your left, move your right shoulder back towards 6. And then maybe lift the arm up. Yes, so good. Are your hips over to the one side, or can you move your right hip to 3, your left hip to 9? Yes, you can. Good. Look down, really beautiful. Send your hands under the inside of your right foot. Straighten your right leg. Walk over to the left. Press Rita Pranayama, wide leg fold. And then look at your heels. Make sure your second toe, that's the one next to your big toe, is directly in front of the center of your heels. Take your hands out in front of you. Find a really wide triangle, playing with that trinity. Bend into your left knee. Maybe look out to the right. And then play a little bit from here. Shift the weight into the right knee. Look over to the left. So you're playing both sides. You're playing east and west. You're playing north and south. You're fitting yourself in time so that you know where you are on your day. You know when you need to get things done. You know when you need to make a meal so that you're fueled. You know how to play time well. And then look at your right foot. Walk your hands back to find your lunge. That's it. And then walk your hands around. You might want to look at me for this. I know some of you have done this with me before. Walk your hands around to the right so that you're going to come over to the right, but your knees are going to cross. And you're going to walk your hands out. You're going to probably come off your mat into that cross knee down dog shape that we've been playing with. Lift both heels. Bend your left knee so it fits behind your right knee. And then make that rectangle from wrist to wrist, from toes to toes. Listen carefully. Take your right hand to make the triangle. Right hand fits in front of the knees. Bend your knees a lot, more than you think you should. Think your chest moves back into your thighs, and then pick up your left hand. Put the hand to the low back at your sacrum. Yes, and then if you want, turn the pose, but don't turn the hips. Yes, so pretty. I know it's hard. Keep looking out. If you lose contact, look out towards your hands, then turn your pose. Think your right shoulder moves a little bit more to fit into the left side. That's it. So good. Lift your heels. Drop both hands down. Really pretty. Look out back towards the front of your mat. Come back towards 12 o'clock. And then step back. Down dog. Flow or no flow. There's no way I'm flowing after that. So if you want to, know your tenacity. Go for it. Then we'll meet back down dog. When you're ready, inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Round the back foot down 45 degrees. Reach the arms forward and up. Warrior one. So nice. Good. Really find that longer stance. So Dawn, play with a little bit longer stance on this side. And that might mean you have to go wider. Give your roots a little bit more stronger foundation. So just like the tree wants to go down, we want to go down but out. So we really are spreading our stability, and then get your chest up, get your vision up. Reach your hands out in front of you. Right arm underneath left arm, eagle wrap. Lift the elbows up to chin height. Look at your elbows. Move the right elbow a little bit more to the left. Move the left elbow a little bit more to the right. And then lift your elbows up to your chin. Fit your chin into the crooks of the elbows. And then back bend the pose. Push the weight into your right heel. Left heel, lift up, 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 up. Then come down. Variation of humble warrior fold. Take your right hand down to the inside of the left foot. Look out in front of you just to start. And then maybe you start to lunge that left knee into the left armpit. Then pick up your left hand to the low back. Look out towards 12 o'clock. If you flipped your wrist on the first side, flip it on the second side. And then again, just see if one side's easier than another. Notice where the fit is. Notice if you're pushing all the way into your thumb or all the way into the pinky. Can you find that balance of a trinity, pushing the weight into the thumb and first finger, pushing the weight into the pinky edge of the hand, finding those 3 points of contact, but find the arch of the hand so you lift down to rise up. And then turn the pose. Turn your right shoulder to 12, turn your left shoulder to 6, put your pubis forward towards 12 o'clock. Get the hips in line, that's gonna help move the pose, and then keep turning around yourself. Maybe you lift that left hand up. Yes, it should be hard, Caroline. Yes, go the other way. Caroline, go the other way, unless you can't. Yes, that's good. And then drop the hands down to the inside of the left foot. Walk your hands around to the right and then bend into your right knee. Look out in front. Good. And then from here, really shift the weight into the right foot and then circle the hips back, around, come to the left knee, bend the left knee, look forward, shift the torso forward. So imagine yourself spinning in time. Go clockwise. Allow yourself to just be free with this. Really take out the angles now. Take out any rigidity in the pose so that you know how to use measurement, you know how to use angles for yourself, but you also know how to take them out so that you're buoyant. And then next time you come to 12, go counterclockwise. And then put something in this that you want to move out. So it really becomes personal. And as it becomes personal, maybe thinking about something that you want to let go of. Maybe something that doesn't work in your day, in those 24 hours. Maybe just playing with how you're using time as you move against the grain. And as we move against the grain, we've been doing that a lot lately, right, in our society. So we need to know where our boundaries are. We need to know where our measurements are. We know how to have our good time. We know when we wake up. We know when we go to bed. So that when we have our measurements, we're coming into a sphere. And as we learn to become a sphere, we take out the angles so that we bounce and we don't break. Come around yourself and around yourself, and then pause. Look at your left foot. Come into your lunge. Walk the hands forward to frame your left foot. And then here's that sneaky trick again. Walk your hands all the way to the left so the knees cross. Your knees cross. Make that braid. Find that shape that we've been playing with in down dog. So we come again into this shape rectangle. And as we come into the shape, really noticing the fit. Can you lift the heels to try to get that right knee behind the left knee? And then think that there's a really sneaky turn of your right thigh in to move your left thigh out. Look out in front of you and then take your left hand to make that trinity, make that triangle. Your left hand is now the apex of the triangle. If you want to twist, take your right hand to your low back at your sacrum. Put your palm, that's it, on your sacrum. Zach, flip it, so palm on the sacrum. Yes, good. Then start to turn the pose. Everyone should be looking towards the front of the mat. Yes. Keep turning the pose, turning the pose, turning the pose. So pretty, Nancy. Lift your heels more. To bend your knees a little bit more. That's going to give you more support. Yes, so good. Drop your hands down. Look back towards 12 o'clock. Whoo! Unwind yourself. Flow or no flow. I'm not flowing again, but you can. That's why it's personal. Then when you're ready, drop your knees down. Come into a child's pose. Take a moment, take a sip of water. So good. So these shapes, right, we keep doing them again and again. That's the fun part of practice, repetition. And this repetition is all around us. That's why in this really kind of esoteric practice, we repeat the shapes, we repeat the measurement, we repeat the time so that we have new perspective. We keep doing it again because each time we come to our mat, it's different. Each time we come to a pose in a different way, we get more perspective, right? When we hop into, it's like hopping into our car And when we turn on that ignition light, we know where we're gonna go. We know where we're gonna move, but we need all the tools. We need the gas in the car. We need the pilot light to light up. We need the music to come on so we're not bored. And then we know where we're going. We have a direction. We're not just aimlessly moving. And then sit up, come all the way up. That's it. Have your blankets, gather your blankets so that they're, I like to use 2 for this, but you can have any amount that you want. Have your blankets so that they're stacked, one on top of another. And always try to put, when you do blankets, always try to put the fringe side all on one side so it's really organized. In yoga, we call this saucha, or purity, or cleanliness. And then try to have the creases on one side. And then just put that handy towards the back of your mat so you have it. And then you're gonna keep this child's pose, but just step your feet to the edges of the blanket. And you're gonna use the edge of the blanket just to put your heels on for a little bit more lifted, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg to the sky. Draw your right knee in. And then slide your shin forward for pigeon pose. So from here, stay away from the blankets as best as you can. They're just kind of behind you. We're going to use them as the next. And then take your block, if your right hip is lifted, take it underneath your right hip. I know most of you have been practicing like this for a while. So the blocks just bring the ground up to you. And then look out in front of you. Walk your hands down. You can play with that block. I always like to play with the block underneath the diaphragm so that my whole torso stays a little bit more elevated. When you have the torso elevated, it actually lifts your lungs up, so you're not collapsing the diaphragm, collapsing the lungs. So you can breathe a little bit more through this pose. And then start to soften and release. And so this playing with 3 sides, or playing of the Trinity, is really the 3 parts of our own whole, our own self, or what we make up, or made up with: our mind, our body, and our breath. That's why when we first start practicing yoga, it's often really challenging to link our mind and our body first. And the breath is truly one of the most advanced practices because it really takes time. It takes effort. It takes that tenacity to stay with something so that you can play all 3 parts really well. And so at first we just start to learn to tune our instrument. We start to learn to play do, re, mi. We don't come in and expect to play an entire sheet of music or play with the orchestra when we're first learning something. Just like when we first learn to swim, we don't just drop our body in the water. We first learn to kick, then we learn to stroke, then we learn to get our head up so we know where we're going, we know where we're moving, so that we can eventually move all 3 things together. Kick, stroke, look. Kick, stroke, breathe, look. All 3 things together. And so the yoga practice uses the breath, really this 3rd limb of this implicit, what we can't see, so that we have more function, so that we make it personal. When you're ready, walk your hands back, lift your chest up. That's it. Slide a block if you used it off to the side, and then just come over onto your right hip. Swing your left leg just straight out in front of you. So your right foot's probably gonna be tucked, and that's okay. Now lean back and grab your blankets. And I'm gonna turn to face you so you can see this a little better, but you can stay on your mat. So when you come into this Gomukhasana, lift your hips up, and then really start with the right knee, really tuck it underneath, and you can really see the braid here with the knees, that visualization of having like 1/3 of a leg, or not 1/3, a third leg, imaginary. And then take your right foot, just tuck it, And this is going to be hard, right? This is work. This is a lot of work. I don't think I've met anyone that likes this pose. So know that well, and then see if you can really start to fit your knees one on top of the other. And then this is a great pose to use your blocks so that you're lifting up. And you can take your hands, just your blocks, to your sides, and then see if you can really tilt your pubis forward a little bit more, and then stick your butt out more. Now take your right thigh, turn your right thigh in, and see if you can rotate and open externally your left hip. So you can even do that. Take your hands to your left thigh, inner left thigh, and then really spin in to go out. I even sometimes like to take my left hand to my left hip and really turn the thigh. That's going to help move the knees into a little bit better fit. And it's okay if they're not right one on top of the other. And then spread the toes so that you have a good base. And you can measure by taking a block on either side to your feet and see if you can get the feet parallel. And the first time I did this, I was like, nope, that's not going to happen today. So if that's you, know that that's part of the work. Okay, and that gives you a good fit for your feet of where they're aiming and where they're going. And then if you want the full pose, reach the arms out wide, take left arm underneath the right arm for an eagle wrap. Lift the elbows up. So stay, and you can just stay with the discomfort, right? So we want a little bit of discomfort so that we know what it feels like. We know how to be uncomfortable, and we know how to use that to our advantage. And then take the elbows over to the right. Take your chin over the left shoulder. So good. Yeah, so nice. And you can also just take your hands to your shoulders, so that's a little bit more accessible for you today. And then from here, make a soft fist with your top hand. That should be your, I'm like really tangled up, your right hand, okay? Your right hand. And then just do 20 soft Kapalabhati breaths. So Kapalabhati breath that's new, it's like a fist pump in your belly. And you breathe in, and then softly keep your mouth closed. Just softly breathe out 20 times. So just softly forcing something out. Maybe letting something out of your mind so that you can catch your breath. Because you can't have a good mind if you can't catch your breath. And then you can't see what's inside if you don't know what's on the outside, if you don't know what's challenging. And then come back, take a big breath, inhale. Turn your elbows in front of you, release your hands down, shake it out. Straighten your legs, reorganize your blankets just off to the sides. You have it nice and handy, and then come back to a dog, come back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Last opportunity to flow. If you have something you want to move, or maybe even just really feeling this linearity of the body. What does it feel like to come around yourself and then to release it? Lift your left leg up. Exhale, slide the left shin forward. Start to come into that pigeon pose on the second side when you're ready. That's it. Good, and then really know how to play both sides well. So one side will always be maybe easier, maybe harder than another, so that you have that information. And then when you're ready, soften and fold, just come all the way down and release. And so just like swimming, I'll stay with this analogy of swimming today. But just like swimming, swimming is technique. There's really no tricks to it, right? We have the same recipe for the most part. And the recipe is really the magic. So just like time is our measurement, we have to know what time we're in. We have to know what time of day we're in. We have to know what season we're in. We have to know what year we're in. We have to know how old we are, what age we are, if we're just starting something or we're mastering something. so that we know how to use the recipe well. So if you're just learning how to bake chocolate chip cookies, you need time to practice. You need to know that probably the afternoon is a better time to make cookies than the morning. And you know how to measure time to actually put the cookies in so they don't get burned, or they're not too soggy, so that you're mediating between those two things to make a good cookie. And these recipes of time, of our bodies, are really practice. And it's within this practice that we start to learn the better fit. And as yogis, we know that it's not all about our body. It's not just one, it's three. It's mind, body, and breath that brings us together. Just like when you swim, you're not going to just jump in and just use your legs. When you bake, you're not going to add everything but the eggs, because you know the eggs are what's going to give it that rise. Walk your hands back, lift your chest, roll over onto your left. Take your blankets. Just keep your right leg out straight in front of you so that you can navigate the blankets around you. And then take your blocks to the side so you can really lift yourself up a little bit more. And so really sit on the edge of the blankets. If you sat further back last time, you almost want to feel like you're going to fall off the front of your blankets. It's that much of a tip and a forward bend. And that forward bend at the pelvis and the hip is going to lift your sternum up so that your thighs and your pelvis have more rotation, okay? And so let's do that again. Take your hands to your, and if you haven't already, take your right knee on top. So you're bending into the knee. You can also just keep the legs straight if that's better for you today. Take your hands to the inner right thigh, pull your inner right thigh in, and then just kind of imagine it rolling out to the right. And then I like to take my right hand to my right hip on this side and then really use it to turn out towards this side. These are really handy since I can't actually physically adjust you. These are really handy to have in your own practice, in your own toolkit. And then when you're ready, try it again with the blocks. Take your blocks so that there's a straight line, or as straight as you can imagine it. That's where the imagination will help. Then imagine your knees are right on top of one another. Lift your chest forward and up. You want to add the arms out. Take your hands right arm this time underneath the left arm. Take that eagle wrap. Lift your elbows up to chin height first. And then take your elbows to the left. Take your chin over to the right. And then soft, just a soft fist with your, now it's your left hand. And then 20 Kapalabhati breaths. Take a breath, inhale, then exhale, 20 breaths. So imagine fire is coming up your back behind you, and then water is coming down in front of you so that you make steam. And the visualization here is steam. So that you know how to make a fire, you know how to get rooted, you know how to rise up, you know how to find that steam, but you also know how to catch the grace coming down so that you don't burn out, you don't get too soggy, you're mediating between fire and water so that you rise up and out of yourself. Then after those 20 breaths, take your elbows back, release your hands down. So good. And then straighten out your legs. So either meditation if you want it, or shavasana if you're ready to lay down. Take a moment and then just organize yourself and lay down. It might feel really nice to have your legs straight, but your feet can rotate out to really open up the hips, coming back to that more linear, neutral alignment. So wherever you are, if you're in meditation, just come to a comfortable seat. And you can meditate on your back too. So if you feel like you're, if meditation is new to you, I know kind of meditation right now is, you know, everyone's like, I read like Brooke Shields, I read this magazine article, yesterday that Brooke Shields just started meditation, which I think is like, how is Brooke Shields only now just meditating? But it's like trendy, right? Like all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, I should meditate now. Well, you don't have to sit. You can just lay down and meditate, okay? But the point of really getting into the body and into the meditation is that when we lay down, we don't fall asleep. We want to try to fall or wake up, okay? So when you're coming into this, if you're seated, hands on the knees, you can take your hands at your heart, close the eyes. And then just start to visualize those three parts. Your bottom, your middle, and your top. Really easy. Your top, your middle, and your bottom. Your stability, your ability, and your vision. And then know if you're playing one more than the other. Are you always in your ability? It's like I like to visualize it as like are you always in your computer? Are you always doing? Are you always typing or moving? Can you look up and see the vision? Look out on what's around you. We have to do, but we have to dream. But if we're only a dreamer, if we daydream all day, we need our stability to move us somewhere. And so it's not just playing one, it's playing all three. And then use the breath. Use that repetition of the breath. Maybe in just feeling the pattern of the breath, or put yourself in a pattern. I play a lot with the 4 count for those of you that know it. And maybe just putting yourself on a count of 4. Imagine the breath to a count of 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. And for those of you that know the seasons, you can use the seasons. Spring rising. Pause for summer. Fall descending. Hold the breath out for the insight of winter. If you're on your back, just wiggle fingers and toes. Make your way over to one side and join those that are still in meditation. Blink the eyes open. We're just going to do one last pranayama to shake things up before we move out on our way. So take your hands, just start to flip so that you're not too rigid. So you can feel that pranayama, so you can feel your space and feel your day. And you know how to flip a pancake. So you know how you can't flip out. And then flip, 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 flip. And then inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Up, 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 up. Make 2 cups with your hands so you can catch a little bit of grace. And then tip yourself forward just slightly. Really feel your roots. Get rooted. Find that sacred space, and then really feel your hands, feel how you handle the world, feel how you manipulate, feel your competency. And then take a big breath, inhale to add the breath, add that vision, look up. Take 3 sips of air in, hold the breath, feel yourself rise, feel your bottom, your middle, and your top, and then put it together. Exhale, send the breath out. Really good work, everyone. So fun to practice with you. Again, I'm Kat. If I don't know you, say hi. If you have questions about anything we did, let me know. And I will see some of you on Friday. And if you have questions about the new schedule, just let me know too. We have lots of information on the website if you're interested. We're still doing donations as well.